All right, so this is my podcast about. So the main ideas with this podcast is going to be about. It's going to be about like the main topic of anime, and with me, I have Mike Strand.
Hello.
And I have Joseph Zilka.
How's it hanging?
And I'm Brent Shaw, obviously. And so, I have a few questions for everyone.
Yeah.
And like I have some points about anime I'm gonna talk about. So like, I personally like, I'm a pretty big fan of anime, and everyone else here is too. But like, however, you know, I do believe that like, there's a lot of anime out there that's like pretty garbage, you know.
Oh yeah, totally.
So like,
Yeah.
that like I totally want to recommend to people. What do you really think about that?
Well, I mean, like, I guess I'm like not as more like a anime expert as like the other two you guys, because like I just started like not really recently, but like kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, overall, what I've seen, I enjoy like a lot of the plots because like they're just really interesting and they really get deep into it. But
Yeah.
definitely like what I've seen from some shows, it gets pretty intense. Like, as in like it looks not safe for work or children. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of it is definitely pretty far fetched.
Yeah, no, I mean the way that I look at it though is like anime is like any sort of other media. Like there's a fair amount of smut in Western media that's just pretty bad. Like, I mean, you wouldn't catch me, you know, watching American Idol. Like I think that's pretty trash. It's like same thing with, you know, Orimo or, you know, Aramanga Sensei. It's like those are bad programs that that not a lot of people watch, and I feel like that should be representative of the whole genre.
But people do watch them seriously.
Oh yeah, people do watch this.
It's pretty like, the thing is though, is like people who actually watch shows that are like super like over the top, like just like crazy shows, like fan service wise and stuff.
Yeah.
And like involving like little kids and like probably like sexual situations. It's like those people like are kind of like a closeted like group of people who like aren't very like popular.
I'd say they're probably like more into anime than like a lot of other people.
Yeah. Like the majority of those people, like people just make fun of those shows.
Yeah.
So that people don't understand.
I would say that it's definitely a minority of people within, you know, the anime community, if you will, that would have liked stuff like that anyways, whether it had been anime or, you know, some other weird Western thing. And I feel like there's maybe just more of a will to produce that sort of content because there's a market for it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's definitely not representative of the whole community. There's a very small group of people that watch that stuff.
It's just like, because, you know, like it does, like anime is from Japan, and you know, like different cultures have different people, and everyone thinks differently and like perceive things differently. Like,
definitely. Like, I mean, like Japan's like the most reversed culture compared to us. Like something that may seem like completely normal to us might seem very like kind of like disrespectful towards them.
Yeah.
Or just anything.
It's a good thing to take into consideration.
Yeah, I mean, the big contributor to that is Japan's very homogeneous culture. There's not a lot of people that aren't Japanese in Japan, and we don't have a lot of that here. Like especially in Western countries, I'd say in most other countries, there's very large portions of the population that aren't, you know, racially homogeneous or, you know, just even culturally homogeneous. And you don't get a lot of that in Japan. So I feel like that kind of creates a lot of dissonance between, you know, Japanese culture and, you know, American culture per se.
Yeah, and like the thing is that I personally feel like people shouldn't view anime so negatively because like there are like a lot of different stories that can be told differently, and like anime is a good way to grasp the concept of different over the top ideas that like aren't as common as like mainstream ideas.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure like there's some kid shows in Japan that, you know, like some animes over there that like really they, I guess, show something like completely different than what like a kid's show here would like show. Like, I mean, they probably have like learning shows as well over there, but not only that, it's like other aspects of like life that they're most likely gonna experience.
Yeah, I mean, Naruto's a great example of that. Like, Naruto was marketed towards kids, and you know, from a Western lens, is it's a pretty violent show. It's not something that we would have traditionally shown to kids, but that's something that, you know, is shown, or it's marketed towards kids in Japan. It was marketed towards kids in America too, but yeah, it's just once again goes back to that weird dissonance between the two cultures.
I feel like Dragon Ball Z is kind of similar to that too.
Exactly.
A lot of people love that, and I've seen like a bunch of people with like Dragon Ball Z like tattoos and stuff because like that's just like people's childhood like really like is a big part of their lives, you know, and like having like a childhood hero is like kind of like a big thing.
Goku, yeah, like my roommate, for example, like Mina, he's from Egypt, and he watched like Dragon Ball Z when he was a kid, and he loves it.
Yeah,
like,
dude,
he sees Goku as like his like inspiration almost. Yeah, like
it's pretty cool.
Like I mean, like he does some pretty like outgoing stuff, so I definitely see like a lasting like impact on him from the show, and like other shows too that might have like other upbringings.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a good kind of showcases something that's like really weird, as far as like people just watching anime. It's you know, I feel like a lot of people, Americans, have had some sort of exposure to anime, whether they realize it or not. Like, you know, like I mentioned Naruto. How many of your friends watched Naruto growing up?
Yeah.
And how many of your friends watched Dragon Ball Z growing up?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, exactly. It's, you know, I mean, that's anime. I mean, there's a hard line between, you know, watching that casually as a child and, you know, becoming a fan of the, you know, medium. But still, it's like, you know, the way that I look at it is like, why stop there? You know, I enjoyed these things as a kid. You know, why can't I enjoy them now?
And like, also like, I would say like another example that a lot of people have watched is not necessarily like a show, but the movie Spirited Away. Like
the Ghibli movies are like amazing.
Yeah, everyone like, well, as soon as you say Spirited Away, like everyone's like, oh, I know that.
It's
like,
kind of what I was talking about like earlier, because like there's like, I feel like there's so many different like ways to tell stories differently when like you animate them.
Oh yeah,
because like you can do like so many like crazy things with animation, and like 3D animation like is not the same as hand drawn animation.
Oh, for sure.
Like traditional cells and stuff being used and everything. Like,
there's more like art into it.
It's like an art style.
Yeah, I mean,
same with manga too.
Yeah, it's like I would say animation allows an artist to be a lot more expressive with movements, and you know, kind of just cinematography in general. You can't get that in a live action feature.
Yeah.
You know, and you can look at, you know, different styles of animation, like Disney's, you know, distorting of, you know, figure and kind of like making things weird, abstract in a way.
Yeah.
And you can do that with animation, but like when you look at it, break it down, it's like all those different things that they do that make it not realistic adds to the expression of a character that really helps, you know, an artist express a story or a feeling that may not be so realistic, but the feelings are realistic. Just not the manner in which they're shown. And that's something you can't do with, you know, traditionally filmed live action stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So, there's this one article I was reading in a book called Manga in America, and it's like talking more about manga, which is like totally irrelevant because that's just like the hand-drawn style of anime.
Yeah.
It's like before anime. She talks like about like founding companies of like all American manga, like everyone. Like, all American manga companies, like, the founding fathers of them have all been men. And, like, she states that, like, the Japanese don't really honor, like, contractual agreements like the Americans do because they are culturally and racially homogeneous.
Oh, yeah. I mean, go for it, Joe.
I mean, like, definitely, I guess I could share, like, my little experience. Like, I spent 3 years in Asia, like, in Singapore, and I lived there, and, like, there's a lot of different things like happening over there. A lot of like things you wouldn't see over here in America. Like you know, they kind of see certain like races or different nationalities as kind of like a hierarchy almost. Like I remember in Singapore it was like like the Chinese Singaporeans, or you know, the top, the cream of the crop, you know, and like
the Brahmin, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but and then like on the bottom it would be like the Indian workers. And when I went over there, I just saw everyone equally, but like definitely you could tell there was some kind of like tension in between like the different classes there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I guess like the same could say for like Japan. Like they're like a really like respected culture. Like it's all about respect. And so I guess one of the aspects is like women, like just like women in Japan, they're kind of not really like treated as I would say like not as well as in America. And there's like a big like controversy over there on how they're treated and how they like work in the workforce and all that.
Yeah, I would even go as far as to say anime in general and even manga, like the whole industry is pretty. So it's kind of a boys' club, and even fan wise too. Like, yeah, there are female fans of manga and anime,
but it is really kind of like a boys' club.
Yeah, it's kind of like a weird thing. Like, I kind of sometimes I wonder. I'm like, why did this take off with boys, but not necessarily girls? Because when you look at some of the anime that is produced in Japan, there's a fair amount of stuff that is marketed towards girls.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, it just hasn't catched on here. Maybe it's just the fact that there more, male-centric material has been distributed to America.
I feel like most like popular like anime shows, they always talk about like male protagonists. They always have like male protagonists,
For sure.
But like that's just like it's just kind of like relating like to people. Because I feel like the protagonists in anime, like lots of them, are just like ordinary guys.
Yeah.
We can put in like over the top like ideas.
And also like I've heard like recently how Japan's having a problem with how they reproduce, or like how the boys react basically, and like I've read somewhere it was like anime, they're like more attracted to having like these like art styled like drawings of girls, and like they rather have that than to actually like interact with like women. And, I mean, like, when you see that, like, if you're some kind of, like, anime artist, you're definitely going to be like, oh, there's a big market for that. Like, I might draw some, like, lewd anime just to, like, kind of
that's why they call
it the boys.
Yeah, they call it fan service, when you draw, or when you do anime of some rather lewd material. That's fan service. It caters to the diehard fans of that sort of thing. But also I'd like to, go into yes, there's a lot of anime that is male centric, but one of my favorite directors and Studio Ghibli and Hayao Miyazaki, most of his movies feature a strong female lead, and I think that's amazing. There's tons of animes out there that really that feature a super strong female lead. Things like Kill la Kill.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about Kill la Kill in a sec.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, but I was gonna say is like once again that kind of goes back to that whole thing. Yeah, there's a lot of smut out there that's bad, but there's some stuff that really shines through, and it's important not to ignore that, but also not to ignore the fact that a lot of that stuff some anime is quite bad.
Yeah, there's this article written by a guy named Chris Kincaid. And it's about Kill la Kill, and it's about like, is it a feminist anime or like a fan service feast?
Oh jeez.
Yeah.
that's a tough question.
I haven't seen.
So Kill la Kill is basically about like the main protagonist is a girl, and like
you've seen clips of Kill la Kill.
Have I?
Yeah, it's like the one where the girl wears the kamui. It's like the super skimpy.
Yeah, she wears like a little sailor outfit, but like when like her powers activate, like the outfit like kind of like shrinks,
Yeah.
And it's like all the guys in the audience, like all their noses start to bleed and everything.
Yeah.
And she's like super shy about it, but then like once she realizes that just like not to care about anyone else's opinion, like she becomes like fully in sync with her uniform, and she
unlocks all her powers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that like I said, that's a really tough question because Kill la Kill, like I said, features a very strong female protagonist who is
all the females in the show are like the strongest characters.
Exactly.
Her mom, and then like the other girl, I forget her name.
Yeah, I mean, for a lack of a better term, like all of the female protagonists in that, or all the female characters in that show, are more or less badasses, and it's super cool to see that, because once again, that's not something you get a lot of in anime.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, the part of the question that makes it difficult to answer is a lot of the character design features super skin outfits.
Yeah, I feel like the fan service, like it's kind of making fun of like fan service in a way.
Yeah,
because
like it could be a satire sort of deal.
Yeah, it really is the show.
I mean, like from hearing like what you guys talk about the show, like I definitely see it as more towards like getting you know women out there in the real world to like rise up and like don't care what anyone else says. Like you can wear whatever you want, and like you shouldn't care what like anyone else says. And like the same with boys seeing Goku as their like a superior, like, oh, like I look up to this dude. They could basically see like Kill la Kill as their kind of rise up to like, oh, I should definitely like take after this.
Yeah, I feel like that's like probably like a good thing, because like if people like really like saw Goku as like the role model, like they'll be like working out, training all the time, because that's all Goku does. He just like trains like crazy hard.
Yeah, that is really generally a really common theme throughout anime. It's like you in a lot of anime stories you end up with like super overpowered characters in a way, but the thing is that they always highlight is these people train really hard to get where they are.
Yeah, correct.
And I think that's a great message to give to kids and just people. It's like, you can be who you want to be, but you have to work for it.
Yeah.
So like there's this book I was reading. It's called Themes and Issues in Asian Cartooning, and like he talks about many aspects of both boys and girls like manga are like explored, and like how they're so purposely like different from each other. He talks about like how female characters in early manga had like very like interesting physical features, such as like huge like sparkling eyes and like large complex bows and like twirling ribbons and stuff and like frilling laces, but like instead of like having just like showing like their like breasts, and like that's all it really is now. But back then it was like super like complex, all this like animation.
Yeah, I mean I'd say that's a lot of that's visually representative of the style back then. That one of the things that you mentioned is big sparkly eyes. That's a general indicator of a moe style of animation, which has the weird faces with the big eyes. What most people would classically consider anime, but character design has evolved tremendously. I mean, like we as humans, like our fashion senses have evolved too. It's like I'm not wearing boxy shoulder suits every day.
Bell bottoms.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Get out of here, man. Like,
exactly.
So like, why do you, a good question like to ask would be like, why do you think this has changed over the years? Like the characters, like, because they used to be like so complex with like all these like crazy outfits and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, but like not really anymore.
Yeah, I would say that there's still some pretty complex character design out there for females.
Yeah.
Like Violet Evergarden, great series. Her character design is phenomenal.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Character design is amazing.
That's a lot of like fashion like oriented stuff. Like they wear some pretty cool like clothes. Like I mean, like I wouldn't wear them because I'd probably be seen as like,
maybe you need to look up to JoJo a little bit more.
I
don't know, man.
That's definitely my favorite anime and manga that I've seen, and it's like really cool to me because like the creator of it, Hirohiko Araki, he's like super into like fashion and stuff, and so like he makes his characters in the manga and the show, like he gives them these like crazy outfits like no one would ever wear, but like they're super cool looking, and it's like huge pins and stuff and like these crazy outfits, and like it's just like really cool. And, like,
that's like it's a stylistic like Kill Bill, for example, like nobody wear Kill Bill outfit, like you know what I mean?
What you're talking about,
yeah, but like it's like a stylistic thing. It's like using over exaggerations of things that did actually exist to create a certain feeling and emotion. Like that's just good character design right there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Joseph, what do you think about the character design
of
JoJo?
The character design. Oh, I love them because like each part like starts with kind of like a backstory to like how it started, or like maybe like an origin story, and I feel like each character is different than like anyone else.
I can't think of any other shows or anything that's like even remotely similar to JoJo's.
Exactly,
because it's just so over the top, and that's why I love it so much.
It's like almost as it's so outrageous that it works. It's
like I don't understand how like every single character in the show basically has like an ability, and like the powers that people have are just so weird, and I don't understand how they thought of that. Like that's what like I'm so interested in, because like, you know, we have companies here like in America, like big companies, Marvel, DC, you know, but like over in Japan, like there's so many different like manga companies, you know, because like manga is all about like people kind of like writing their own thing.
Yeah.
Like Hirohiko Araki, like he wrote JoJo's Bizarre Adventure back in the 1980s, and he's still writing it right now, and like, that's just like his own thing. He got so popular from it, and like, so I feel like there's like so many more ideas in like this different culture, like the anime culture and manga culture.
Exactly. I mean, it's like a different culture. They're telling their stories, and their stories are really good in my opinion, and that's something I want to consume.
So like, why do you think Japan of all places became a global leader in animation?
Ooh. That's a
I would say mainly it would have to do with like a lot of things like changed after World War II for Japan. There was a massive like technology boom. Like they were like producing stuff left and right, and I would say many people just got like creative ideas from this. Just it's kind of like a golden age almost, with like ideas or like different, like I said, like different technology. So like definitely that could like sparked it somehow. What do you guys think?
I think Brendan, do you want to
go ahead? Yeah.
I was thinking so after World War II, you know, the pretty rough time for Japan and just Asia in general. And, you know, one of the earliest series that we'd probably consider anime is Astro Boy.
Yeah,
and,
Astro Boy.
Yeah, Astro Boy exploded in popularity, and I think that's
like what started it all, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. That is what is widely considered the first anime. I think what happened was they made this super high quality piece of animation that people really liked, and it exploded. And also, I think it evolves from a Japanese, or a sense of, you know, Japanese people wanting media to be, or a part of media to be theirs. Like Hollywood controls most movies, but you know that anime is such a uniquely Japanese thing.
Yeah,
and I feel like it's kind of like something that they take pride in, and that's why it's so popular.
So I read this article by Michael Hoffman. It's titled "Taking Anime Too Seriously," and he talks about like why did Japan of all places become a global leader in animation, and he says that the answer draws us back to America in the 1950s, when there is a purge of extreme content from comics owing to moral revulsion.
Oh, yeah.
He states that the American comics turned childish and mainly for children, while Japan never lost its hold on adults.
Huh.
Yeah, I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah,
that totally makes sense. I mean,
I guess there's like a purge of like extreme content, you know.
Well, that's like
comics.
Yeah, that's like McCarthyism. Like, you guys know Joseph McCarthy. Like, dude. Basically was like no communist. Red Scare.
1950s.
Yeah, I mean, like Japan didn't have that. I'm guessing, and that's kind of it's just kind of like a different timeline. We truly live in the darkest timeline.
Yeah. So Kandri wrote this article about. He says that otaku art. So like otaku is basically like a guy who like a huge fan of anime.
Oh, you mean like weeaboo?
Basically, yeah. But otaku-oriented anime contains troubled male protagonists who essentially reimagine the hero as vulnerable, conflicted, and anything but all-powerful. Even passive, insecure, dubiously warriors like have a place in saving the world in like many anime series.
Yeah, I mean, when you say otaku, I think you know, your general weeboo.
Yeah.
Just like someone.
Yeah, somebody who's really into anime, and I feel like a lot of series that those people consume are self-projection series, with where the series kind of takes an arc where the watcher kind of can project himself onto the character and watch a character progress.
I honestly think that's kind of cool. Like, even though it's like super like, you know, super like otaku oriented, it's like, but the thing is that like it's about the main protagonists are just like troubled like males and like men who like shouldn't be a hero at all, but like they're thrown into a world where like they are a hero.
One Punch Man.
Yeah, you know, and like that's like kind of cool. Like some people, not really me personally, but like other people definitely relate to that. And,
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just an aspect of general good story writing. Like, everyone has troubles. And, you know, it's nice to be able to see someone who has troubles fix their troubles.
Yeah, and like sometimes
cool.
like the best part of a story is like to relate to somebody who's just like you as the main character.
Exactly.
You know, and like there's a lot of people who, you know, like not everybody is like a hero like Goku or like Naruto, but like some people are just like, you know, that they just like kind of like live in their mom's basement.
Yeah.
Every show has its Joey.
Yeah.
Yugs.
So another thing is there's a book by Raina Denisons, and it's called Anime Critical Introduction. She talks about how the Tokyo International Anime Fair. Have you guys heard about that?
Yeah, that's like the big one.
Yeah, so like it used to be like a super big expo space for anime, but now like it's all wrapped up in controversy, and like the reason that the controversy started was in 2011 when the Japanese government tried to halt the sales of pornographic manga in Tokyo's convenience stores. And so like a bunch of people that like made like the pornographic manga, like they like left like from the International Anime Fair, and so like it's not like as big of a thing anymore.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
that's like pretty sketchy, dude.
That is kind of sketchy. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
But the thing is that like there's a whole nother like group of people that are into like, you know, like pornographic manga.
yeah.
That's not like really like a mainstream thing, and like there's always like bad people out there that do stuff like that.
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't even say it's like necessarily bad. I'd say it's definitely taboo to, you know, be interested in that. But like,
Yeah.
you know, I think it's a shame that the Japanese government cracked down on it. It's as weird as it may be, it's a form of artistic expression.
I would say
Yeah.
like just kind of like separate the two so that like you have one like event mainly towards like anime.
That's actually kind of what they did.
And then
They did.
yeah.
There was like a new expo that was.
Yeah, but is pornographic manga and anime? It's still
like,
anime.
But like you don't want your like kid wander around and then you see like you're like whoa you gotta shield the eyes, you know.
I think the thing is that like if you're gonna like get somebody into anime like at a young age, there's definitely shows that are meant for kids for anime.
Oh,
Like
exactly.
there's a lot of anime that's meant for older people, and that's why I think it's so cool personally, because they can relate to so many different age groups.
Yeah, I mean, so that kind of goes back to like, you know, you would have let your kid, you know, binge watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
That's true.
But yeah, there's shows for everybody in anime. It's like same thing with any other media. I think people just generally forget that anime is a visual media, like any other visual media, and you know they shouldn't.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think we pretty much explored everything I wanted to talk about in this podcast about anime.
Cool.
Do you guys have any like final thoughts about anime? Because I really think that it's, you know, it's a good way. Like I think it's a shame that it's received so negatively.
Oh, yeah.
in like the United States by people. But I feel like over the years, like it probably won't be as bad. Because I feel like it's getting a lot more popular. Like,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
like you guys know what Toonami is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like on Adult Swim on Cartoon Network, and they air anime like every Saturday night. And
Yeah, like people are starting to get into it now. Like
that's how I got into Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah,
actually,
same.
I just started
That's
watching
how I
it.
got
At first,
it.
I was like, this show is stupid. Like,
that's how I got into Gundam.
but I was like, wait, this show is actually really cool.
Yeah.
Started playing more episodes of it, and so yeah, it's just like really sweet.
Mike, you got any final thoughts?
I think my final thoughts is, you know, if anime can be an intimidating thing. There's a lot of anime out there. There's a lot of bad anime. But I don't think that should intimidate somebody from the medium, because there's a lot of really, really good stuff out there, and to deny yourself that would be selling yourself short. And start with something easy. Start with Studio Ghibli.
Yeah, that's why I think everybody should watch those movies.
Yeah,
like some
definitely.
of them.
I mean, Disney distributed those movies.
Yeah.
Like, Disney distribution company was like, these are so good, we want these to be distributed in America.
Animation's so good.
And,
Yeah.
I mean,
there's just something for me. There's just something different about hand-drawn animation and 3D animation.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I feel like it's just so much better.
Yeah.
But that's just personal preference. Yeah. Anything, Joseph?
I guess my final thought, since I definitely like anime a lot, and I look forward to seeing more different stuff about anime, and I honestly hope a lot of people don't stray away from the negative thought of it. If you see an anime, you're not gonna become a weeb or something like that. You're just I mean, just give it a try. SpongeBob's an animation. It's an American animation, and over there, they'll have I don't know, Dragon Ball Z might be their SpongeBob in Japan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And everyone thinks it's cool. Everything SpongeBob's cool.
Yeah, I feel like it's I feel like a thing that we should learn is that as Americans, there's other stuff out there besides the stuff that we produce.
Yeah,
that's
right.
probably better than what we produce. Nonetheless.
Yeah, definitely, because
open-mindedness is the key.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely, and I would say, I mean, I wouldn't really go into it, but anime kind of tops a lot of American animation shows.
Oh, I
because because the story arc of it, each episode kind of draws you to watching the next one instead of just having random moments and shows.
Yeah, I mean, that's a completely different topic that we won't get into, but yeah, no, totally. I completely agree with that. Just the quality and, both the story and the actual animation is something that America literally cannot compete with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is
this is the podcast, and I think that pretty much sums up everything I wanted to talk about. Outline. So yeah, thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Arigato.